Hello, good morning. It's morning here. I intuitively feel like I want to talk about my journey into getting to where I am now. And yeah, I came across this guy's YouTube. He's younger and it's very inspiring because like he talks so authentically about his journey. It doesn't feel like he's trying to be anybody else but himself. And there's something very very like, oh, I want to listen to this. It's very human. So I will begin by starting where it all sort of went wrong and then to where I got to now. I went to a sixth form after having gone to a secondary school, which was very. The secondary school was like this international school. It was a very beautiful place for myself. I enjoyed it. I fitted in. I felt confident there, and yeah, I felt confident within my social groups. And I left and followed where my girlfriend went at the time to sixth form, and I picked 3 very difficult subjects for A-levels because I was told that you had to pick 3 difficult subjects in order to succeed in life. So I picked history and biology and psychology, and I dropped history after a week because I thought, I remember they were talking about Mormons and Anglo-Saxons or something, and then I was just like, nah, I'm out, this is boring. So I switched it to sociology. And so I went there and I found myself sort of falling into friendships. Naturally, the friendships were different to the ones that I had in secondary school. As I sort of like talk about this, I'm aware that I don't want to blame anybody but myself for the actions that I sort of chose, but there were types of people at that sixth form which indulged into self-destructive behaviors which I hadn't come across before, and the susceptible being that I am, that all seemed way more attractive than studying. I wasn't exposed to it before, so I came across all of that, and then I just thought, yeah, I'm gonna do that instead of study, basically. And I dropped all my hobbies. I used to play sports, and I stopped playing sports and I switched it for going out and smoking, basically, which was a very pivotal point in my life. As I began to prioritize those stuff, I began to unprioritize studying, and it led me to fail my A-levels quite badly. Like I got a U in my biology. I didn't revise for my biology exam, and I was just sat there in the exam like smacking my pen up and down, and the invigilator was looking at me like, is this guy like okay? Like he's in a biology exam. And yeah, at that point I just stopped caring about life in the most destructive way possible. I sort of just thought, what's the point, sort of thing, like going out, that's more fun. So as you can imagine, I got led down a very destructive path, and I think because of the generation that my mom grew up in, she was like, Alex, you should go to university regardless, even though you didn't do well. And I was like, well, what am I gonna do? And not to put fashion down, but I was like, well, I'm gonna study fashion because I love fashion. I've always loved the creativity behind it. So I thought I'd study it, and I studied it, and I came out of it just as uninspired as I went in. I left not wanting to not wanting to work in fashion. And then this came the point of sort of like a turning point when I left uni. I left university, and I was hit with the dread of, I now need to figure out what's going on in my life. I'm no longer in autopilot. My life isn't set out for me. I don't just go to university and get told what to do. I now have to figure out what I want to do. And the job search process was the most disheartening thing I've ever done in my life. So much so that I just thought, well, yeah, I switched ideas. I was like, okay, I don't want to work in fashion. Maybe I want to work in art, because art it felt like it was more intellectual and more cultural, and it had like elements of psychology. Well and truly, all the whole time I was actually just interested in artists rather than art in general. Like I've spoken about this before, that I'm just attracted to artists because they are emotionally expressive and vulnerable people, and I can relate to that. So I always fitted in those types of circles of like creative type people, like those types of creative. I know that that's not the only type of creativity. You can be a problem solver, creative person, but yeah, that part of my life, I was completely hopeless. I completely lost hope for my life. I sort of thought, what is the point in it all? I was completely apathetic of everything. And yeah, I was working at the gallery, at the art gallery. I finally got a job, and it was at an art gallery. And at first I was enjoying it, and I was working towards like being a manager there and all that stuff. But truthfully, I was just lost, and I was just getting off on the fact that I was just around creative people. And then I went through a phase where, so like I was learning all about art. I was like learning and revising it, and I thought, okay, I'm going to be an art consultant or an art dealer or a curator. That was the plan from the mind. This is what my mind came up with. And the more and more I did it, the more I sort of felt like lost and confused and like, what am I doing? And then I sort of switched from that into sort of like reading books about how to be an artist. And that was a lot more inspiring than anything else that I had done before. I read a book called The Artist's Way, and it taught me to write 3 pages of conscious stream of thought every single morning, and I began to do that. I began to write, and at first the writing was quite sad, and it was a way for me to process the emotions and the thoughts and the feelings which I had been avoiding. And it also just got me into this mood of like creating something every single day, and it was a piece of writing. It was just me speaking vulnerably onto paper. And I found that throughout the day, I noticed I wasn't really feeling as bad, and I was actually feeling more present. I was like, okay. So that was working really well for me. And then I went on holiday, this is around summertime, and I came across Fabian. He's a spiritual teacher. He's a friend of mine, but he's a spiritual teacher, and he was hosting workshops, and intuitively felt like, yes, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. I didn't actually think that, but this is just like, I was like, I'm gonna throw myself into this, whatever it is. And I went in with no expectations, but I invested into myself, into the mentoring process, and ever since then my life completely changed. Like, it was like the thing that I needed to do in order for me to get to make all of the positive changes that I needed to make. It was like, before, all of these changes were like, yeah, I'll do them slowly, bit by bit, and like, I wasn't really making progress, not in the way that I truly felt like I could, like the potential that I had. And just by investing into myself, into the mentoring, it's crazy because just by investing into yourself, you're already telling yourself that you want to shift. Like, why would you invest into it and then not shift? Like, logically. But from a more energetic standpoint, like, my energy completely shifted as soon as I invested into it. So I let go of drinking. I completely changed everything about my day-to-day life. I started posting YouTube videos, and at first it was really frightening. Like, I'd post and then like my body would be overcome by fear, and I didn't know what to do. That I was trying to figure out, how do I actually like work through fear? Like, what even is that? Like, how do I work through it? And yeah, he was just like, just breathe. And I did that. I began to learn how to breathe through my fears. So now I'm at a point where I notice the fear arising in certain situations, and I just invite it. I don't even just allow it. I actually invite it inwards, and I want to understand it. So I'm like, okay, I feel like this right now, and I put my hand wherever feels intuitively right. It might be my heart, because my heart feels like it's racing, or it might feel my stomach, because my stomach feels tense because I'm not breathing properly. And I just breathe all the way out and all the way in, with this deeper knowing that, like, it will pass. This feeling will pass. This feeling is temporary. And the confidence that has given me is groundbreaking. I am now a completely different person than what I was before. Truthfully, my life has completely changed. I've replaced a lot of low vibrational things for more aligned things which are actually truly meant for me. And it all came from me investing into myself on that day. It was, very pivotal. Now I'm just at a point where I now have dreams, and I wake up every day and I'm excited to be alive. I never felt like that before. I always felt like sort of like a dread, or like a feeling of like, oh, I'd wake up and I'd sort of feel a little bit like, oh, unknowing. It's like, it was like an unknowing depression, like an undiagnosed sort of like sadness, which just came from me always saying yes to other people and no to myself. And as I began to say yes to myself, I began to just cultivate a frequency by choosing the right things, asking myself better questions. Like, obviously I want to go out drinking, but if I ask myself the question of, do I want to feel fresh tomorrow to wake up and go for a run and meditate and journal and create a video, obviously that is like way better. Because when I say no to that thing, that little temporary thing, and I say yes to the things that actually make me feel fulfilled, the day after I do that, game changer. That is addictive. It's within me. I think it's like a predisposition of having ADHD to become addicted to things, and I've become addicted to the momentum that I have built. I don't want to let go of it. I just want to keep pushing, and every single day I learn something new, and I recognize also that growth is not linear. It's not like this, it's like that. So I have off days, I have off periods, I sometimes feel like I'm taking steps backwards, and I know that it's all just part of the process. You have to break down the muscle in order to rebuild it. I am exercising my emotional intelligence by expressing myself vulnerably every single day. I am changing my mind about things. I am understanding things more and more and more. And emotional intelligence isn't something you just have one day. It's like going to the gym. It's like having muscles. If you stop going to the gym, then you're gonna lose it eventually. So yeah, I'm so focused on my health now, not in an obsessive way, but yeah, kind of in an obsessive way, but not in an unhealthy obsessive way, in a sort of like, I realize that it's the most important thing to me, because I realize that if I change my inner world, and I change how I act externally, my whole reality will change. I'll begin to attract the right opportunities. I will turn into the type of person who has a successful career, who has healthy relationships, who is of service to people, and who wakes up every day and feels happy to be alive, which is ultimately the goal, right? And yeah, I want to talk about this actually. This is what I wanted to talk about. It took me 18 minutes to realize. I realized yesterday that my whole life I was living through other people. I might just crop the rest of the stuff out just to post this. I realized my whole life I was living through other people. I was living through my parents, and then I was living through my school, and then I was living through my relationships, and then I was living through my friendships. And it's a natural process. I'm not saying that it was bad, but as I became an adult, I was still living through them. And now that I've shifted, and I literally just say no to people all the time, like, no, sorry, I can't do that, no, like, and I just say yes to myself. I prioritize my energy and what I want to do, and I make that the main focus. I noticed that, like, this is my life now. Like, I actually choose what I get to do, and it's based off my feelings. It's not based off the ideas of other people. So it's like, intuitively, I want to post videos on YouTube. I want to improve my communication. I want to grow emotionally and spiritually. and physically as well by doing exercise, but these are the most important things to me at this point in my life. They are. I'm so grateful for this. I noticed that everything that is good in my life, it's not because of me. My ego will sometimes think that it's because of me, but truthfully, God has always been there. I just had to take steps towards it. It, him, she. Yeah. When you take steps towards God, God takes 2 steps towards you. It's like, yeah, it's beautiful, and I'm so grateful for it because it's completely changed my life. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna leave it there for today. I'll